Hey everyone, I'm Matt. So we're going to have a look at a segment on the news by News Nation. We cover all things UAP, UFO. Um, Question being, has the US government allowed disinformation about UFOs to be in the public to cover for black projects in terms of secret aircraft that the US government are developing? Yeah, I think is well and truly been the case in the past. Why would you admit to things being in the skies that you've created? Let's go and have a look anyway, see what it's all about.
The whole UFO culture had been fueled intentionally by Pentagon disinformation that spanned decades. That's the question posed by a new Wall Street Journal story. It's reverberating throughout the UFO community tonight. The article is titled "The Pentagon Disinformation That Fueled America's UFO Mythology," and it alleges that the U.S. military knew that UFOs weren't from outer space with aliens on them, but instead spread those rumors for decades. Why? Because it helped the military hide top secret programs they were working
Yeah.
on from the public and from America's adversaries. For example, the military was testing a top secret stealth fighter jet in Area 51 during the Cold War. And the Wall Street Journal claims that a colonel delivered photos of flying saucers to local businesses in the area to spread the rumor and stoke the flames of what was really going on at Area 51 was all about UFOs.
Was he dressed as a colonel though? I mean, if I was a local business, like I'm a butcher, and then all of a sudden the colonel walks in and goes, "Have some pictures of UFOs," I'd be like, "Why? What am I supposed to do with these? Put them in the window? Let you know if I've seen one?" Yeah, I mean, they need to go into a little bit more detail around that one. I reckon.
All in an effort to cover up what was really happening. The Wall Street Journal also goes a step further and claims the Pentagon even lied to some of its own employees, sometimes in so-called hazing rituals. One military officer was reportedly told he would be, quote, jailed or executed if he told anyone about his briefing on a secret alien project. Both the briefing and the project were reportedly fake. UFO skeptics have suggested for years that the UFO question may tie back to Pentagon disinformation. This article raises the question of whether some of the biggest names to come forward in recent years, like Pentagon whistleblower David Grush, could have been fed some of that fake information about UFOs and top secret UFO programs.
I mean, that picture that they always use of the jellyfish, um, just floating around. Someone posted a picture of these balloons, like a group of balloons, and it looks exactly like that picture. Do I think it could be balloons? Absolutely.
There are lots of questions here, so let's hear from people who know this subject better than most people do. Joining me now is Ryan Graves. He's the first active duty pilot to come forward publicly about UFO sightings. He's also the founder of Americans for Safe Space. He's also joining me as News Nation's special correspondent Ross Coulthart, who has done a lot of reporting on this subject. Ryan, I'll start with you. You said on X this is a really one-sided piece in the Wall Street Journal. You said it does nothing to account for the near-daily reality of sightings that pilots, service members, and regular folks witness. But couldn't both be true? Couldn't you really be seeing something, and couldn't there also be this incredible, long-standing Pentagon disinformation campaign?
Yeah. Both are true, I think. There's a disinformation campaign that the US government has been putting out there for years, and also there's something to the phenomenon that is unexplainable.
Well, I think that's exactly right, and that's the other side of the story. But the base core uh, presumption that this whole issue is caused from some in briefings that were done in a hazing fashion in order to, well, I'm not really sure why, other than to potentially confuse secret technology. But that's not where this originates from. This originates from eyewitnesses that are spotting things, sometimes on the ground, often in the sky, that is very hard to explain. And whether that leads to, an alien origin or something else, I don't frankly know. But the origin of this isn't a mythology that was spread across military individuals. Now, that might have been leveraged in order to take advantage of the confusion that was present from aviators and military folks that were witnessing these encounters. But no, I would disagree that they are the core progeny of this issue.
Yeah, you saw what you saw. You weren't fed some fake disinformation from somebody at the Pentagon. You saw what you saw.
Exactly, and there's thousands of instances of service members and regular people having similar experiences that can't be chalked up to simply disinformation coming from the Pentagon.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that's the thing. The first-hand witnesses, the people who are out there seeing these things, the pilots, Dave Fravor, people like that, those are the ones where you can't just discount what they're seeing as disinformation because they're visually seeing it. Now, the worrying thing is if it's foreign technology and not something non-human, then it's light years ahead of what the US, the UK has in its possession. So that's probably more frightening as a prospect, to be honest.
But it does highlight a very important issue, I think, which is that if this is going on, this is basically a deception campaign against the American public, which I'm very confident that Congress is not read into.
All right, Ross, what do you make of all this, Ross?
He loves cutting Ryan off. Absolutely.
Good evening, Elizabeth. I agree with Ryan. I think the hilarious thing about this, it's such a joke, this Wall Street Journal article, because it's effectively admitting what we've known for years, which is that there are people, gatekeepers to this secret about this legacy UAP program, who have been lying to and deceiving the American public for years. And now it's official from one of the most senior people who served as the person in charge of investigating UAPs. Put simply, his explanation makes no sense.
If they're talking about Lou Elizondo, butchering that name, I don't know if it's been corroborated that he actually was in charge of that program. Correct me if I'm wrong.
The idea that this would just be part of a hazing ritual to try and encourage people to believe in aliens as a cover for some secret UFO, US stealth program, it really doesn't make a lot of sense. We've known for years that disinformation is being used and that UFOs are often used as cover, but that doesn't explain the first-hand witnesses who say they have seen craft and that they have direct knowledge of a program.
Yeah, so I can understand. It's weird though, because on one hand you're saying there's nothing to the phenomena; it was all just disinformation from the US government. But then there had to be a program there where they were purposely deceiving the public. So on the one hand, they're saying there's nothing to this phenomena. On the other hand, they're saying we purposely deceived you about it previously. Is that not criminal? Maybe not. I don't know. I just don't think. I mean, with the amount of witnesses coming out, the amount of testimony, the history of the phenomenon, I just don't think there's nothing to it in terms of. What I mean is, there's something to it. I just don't think it's nothing. As in, it's just disinformation, and it was a weather balloon at Roswell. What it is, I do not know. Is it alien? I do not know. I just think there's something to it. Maybe it's some plasma-based life form that's been thrown out there. Maybe it's just ball lightning. But I think people see what they see. So it was an interesting segment. I wonder what's going to go on next. See you at the next one.